Hello friends, today in this tutorial we will be building a MERN type kind of application inside React.js, and for this application we will be using the database called as MySQL. So in the last tutorial we have used a database MongoDB. So this is again it's a CRUD kind of an application. You can perform 4 operations. You can create records, you can read the records here. If I load the page, you will see that all the records are loaded from the database. You can even update the records as well using this material dialog box window which is appearing right here. There are 3 fields out there: name, cost and category, and there are these buttons available, and also you can delete the record as well. So basically if I click the delete button, the record will be deleted. So you can see we are using the MySQL database here, which comes inside Apache server. So we are using exam control panel. So there is a software which comes preloaded with this MySQL database. So this is available for Windows as well and for Linux and Mac as well. So download this software on your computer. So after you start your Apache and MySQL server, just go to the admin section, and here you need to create a database. So after that, all this data will be stored inside this. So we have a simple table which is holding 4 fields out there. ID will be the primary key, then name of the cost and category. So basically it's a game CRUD kind of an application. If I delete all the records here, you can now see I have deleted all the records. So if I see here, nothing is present. So basically if I refresh the database, so no record will be present here. You can see all the records are being successfully deleted. So if you're watching it for the very first time, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel. So now we need to create a record. So it's a game CRUD. So let me say need for speed, cost I will say 500, category it is for racing, insert game. So now you can see one record is inserted. So if I see now inside the database, you will see one record is inserted successfully. And let me insert some more records here, which is www raw game. So now you can see 2 records are there. So basically now if I need to update any of the individual records out there, what we can do is that, so we can hover onto the record here. You can see the background color changes. So basically if I hit this, a new pop-up window will appear here. So basically it's a material window. For building this UI, we are also using material UI for React.js. So now this is editable. You can change the cost as well. So if I change it to 600, you can also change the category and name as well. So let me change the name to www versus smackdown. So click on update. So now you can see that, guys, all the details have been successfully updated here. You will see that if I check the database, so now you can see that the name has been updated successfully and the cost is also updated it. So now we have the delete operation. You can also delete the record. You can now see the record has been successfully removed. So in this way, guys, you can build out this CRUD kind of an application in React.js, Express and MySQL database. So let's start building this application. So as I already told you, we are using some dependencies which will be material UI, which is a React component based library for building some awesome interfaces. So let's start doing this. So I have given all the source code in the live chat. So if you want the full source code, you can click this pin comment here, and if you click it, you will land on my blog post here, which I have written. So it contains all the source code that is required for this, all the source code. So you can follow along with the videos. So let's start building this project. So here I will go to my projects directory, and here I will just make a new directory, which is React MySQL CRUD. So first of all, I will open this inside Visual Studio Code text editor. So here, guys, you can now see this is empty. So now we will make 2 directories here. First will be the front end, and next will be the backend. So now we have made two directories, two folders. So we will now move to first of all the front end. And here guys, we will first of all initialize a new React.js project, which is npx create React app, and this will be React CRUD. So basically now this will create a new React.js application inside this folder. So just wait as it installs all the dependencies. So if you're watching it for the very first time guys, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. So inside the backend folder we will make our Node.js project. So after this, so if you have any sort of doubt related to this, you can ask in the comment section. So please hit the like button as well if you're watching it for the very first time. So now you can see our React.js app is successfully configured here. So now we need to install these dependencies here, which is required for this. So we will move to the folder here, which is React CRUD. And here first of all guys, as I already told you, we will need @material-ui/core. This is a material UI library which is needed for this application. So if I execute this command, npm i @material-ui/core, so you just need to write here --force. So this will remove the compatibility issue. So simply write this --force. So now you can see it will install this. So you can now see material-ui core is successfully installed. And also guys, we will also need the dependency which will be Axios to make the HTTP request. Axios, as you all know, it's a very famous library in order to make HTTP request. So it's a promise-based HTTP client for browser and Node.js. So we will also need the Formic library guys. As you all know, it's a form validation library. Formic. So it's a React.js library for building forms without the tiers. So we will also need this. So npm i Formic and what was Axios. So install these two dependencies as well. So now guys, it is successfully installed it. So now we can start our React.js application, npm start. So you can see that. Now we will move to the app.js folder guys. We will remove all that stuff here that is previously there. We will don't need the logo. So right here what we need to do is that inside app.js, basically here we will have a simple form. So here we will be giving a class name which will be app container, and again here we will be having another div tag. So here we will be giving a class name of register container, and here we will be giving a class name of register title, and here we will say game CRUD app. So here we will have a input field guys, input type text. So name is equal to name, and the placeholder will be simply name of the game that needs to be inserted, and then we will have a class name which is register input, and that's it. So if you refresh it guys, your application, I think, let me start this application. So it will run on localhost 3001, 3002, you can see that. So just wait, the application is still starting. So now you can see that guys, our field has one input field out there. Similarly, we will have the next field out there. For this time again, it will be type text. Placeholder will be simply cost. Cost will be a number, so we will change it to number. And the name will be equal to category. Sorry, this is cost. And also we will be giving a class name of register input. And then again we will have the next one, input type text. Placeholder will be category. Name will be again category. So class name we will simply give it as register input. So just close this guys. So now we have 3 input fields out there, as you see here, 3 input fields: name, cost, category. So now we need to style this guys. After this we will have a simple button. Simply we will say insert game. That's it. And also here we need to give it a class name of register button. So all these classes we need to style guys. So basically we will move to the app.css that we are importing here. So just go to app.css, and here what we need to say is that, let me, inside app.css you will see all these classes. So let me paste the styles here. I don't want to waste time in writing CSS guide, but still I will make sure that I write this step by step so that you can fully understand what we are talking about. So it's a very simple CSS, so I will just write it. So if I remove all this, you will now see nothing will be present here. All the styling, default styling is removed. So now basically we will style it step by step. So if you're watching it for the very first time guys, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. Yeah, I will definitely make Angular projects as well in the future guys, don't worry about it. Just subscribe the channel and hit the like button. So here we will target all the elements. We will remove the margin and the padding guys, you can now see. And here we will target the app container class guys. So basically we will change the display property to flex. So as you change the display property to flex here, you will see here, we will align the items in the center position, and flex direction will be column. So if you make this change guys, you will now see it will stay like this. So after this guys, we will target the register container class. Here all the input items are there. So here we will give a padding of 10 pixel, 20 pixel, and also we will be giving a width of max content, and height of also max content. We will giving a margin from the top position which is 20 pixel, and we will be giving a border which is 3 pixels solid black color. So if you now see guys, you will have a simple border here which is of black color, which is surrounded these input fields. So after this we will also give it a border radius to simply have a round border, 5 pixel. That's it. So after this guys, we will have a to register title. We need to style the title here. So make the alignment to the center position. We will give it a margin from the bottom position which is 20 pixel, and font family we will change it to fantasy. So now you can see that our font is also changed. It is appearing right here in the center position. Now we need to style our input fields out there guys. So we will simply say that register input, we will simply say that display to block, and we will give it a margin which is 10 pixel auto, and padding we will simply say 7 pixel 0. So if you see guys, now this is padding. So now you can see our beautiful, it is looking so beautiful guys. Now you can see that. If I just zoom in, zoom out, so our this is input field is looking so great. Now we simply need to also style this button, just give it some padding, which is register button. We'll give it a padding 2 pixel, 5 pixel, that's it. So now this is complete, guys. Basically here you will give the name, cost, category, and insert it. So now the form is completed, guys. So basically now we need to go to our basically bind a on click. So whenever we click the on insert game button, we need to make an Axios HTTP post request. So for this we will simply say that we will assign a on click. We will say that whenever we click this button, so we will need to put a on click here. So this function will be executed, which is handle register game. So this function will be executed, guys, and also we need to put on change as well here. So when the value changes, this function will automatically execute, which is handle add values. This is a function we need to execute. Also here also on change, handle add values, and here also handle add values. That's it. So now we need to make these functions, guys. At the very top here we will simply say that const handle add values. So basically here the value will be coming here, whatever user has written. So now basically we need to declare in the very top of the application, we need to declare some variables. So this will be for the values dot comma set values, and here we will be using the useState hook, guys. useState, it will be imported from React, I think. Sorry, this needs to be imported from React. useState from React. And the initial value for this set values, guys, it will be empty by default. And also we will have list card and set list card. So all the games will be printed inside these cards like structure. So basically this card will be an empty array like this. So now you can see that. So inside this handle add values, guys, what we need to say is that if you see here handle add values, what we need to say is that basically we will use the hook function, which is set values, and basically we will take the previous values here, previous values, and what we will say is that inside this function, sorry, let me see, previous values, this will be an array. So here what we will say is that, guys, so we will put the previous values array, and then basically we will say value dot target dot name colon value dot target dot value. So for this to work, guys, for this function to work, you need to give the name properties. So name property is very much important. So name also here, cost, name is also category. So name attribute should be present. So if you don't provide the name attribute, then this function will not work. So after we assign the values, guys, we need to simply write this function, which is when we click the button, we need to write this function, which is const handle register game. Basically whenever we clicking this button, we are making this function, guys. So basically this will be an arrow function like this. So now basically we need to make a post request using Axios. So Axios dot post, this is the request we need to make, guys. So inside this we need to put the URL http localhost 4000 / register. So basically this request we will make inside the backend folder, guys. Whenever we create the backend folder, we will make this request which will handle this. So Now we need to put the data that needs to be inserted into the database. So name property, we will be coming using values dot name, and then we will get the cost, which will be names values dot cost, and the category will be equal to values dot category. That's it. So all these three values will be there inside this. There you can see that. So if you see here inside set values, we have set these values in this handle add values whenever the value is changed. So now we are getting the values by values dot name, values dot cost, values dot category. Basically it's an object inside that. It's an array of objects. You can see basically it's a empty array. Whenever we execute the application for the very first time, basically we will insert these objects inside this array. So we are getting this values inside an object by using dot syntax. So after doing this, guys, as you all know, it's a promise based client, so it will return a promise, so we can handle the promise using dot then. And basically inside this we will have this data arrow like structure. So here we can simply if any sort of data is returned to us, we can simply console log data. That's it. So now basically up till now we have constructed this front end, guys. Now basically it is saying that Axios is not defined, so we need to import Axios at the very top. We need to import Axios from Axios. So now, guys, what we need to say is that we need to construct the backend. The Node.js application, we will need to construct the backend. So for constructing the backend, guys, first of all hit the like button, guys. I am seeing people are not liking the content. Only 3 likes are there. So the target live stream will be 50 likes. So please increase it to 50 likes. All the people watching, please hit the like button. So basically now we will go to the this folder, which is backend folder, which is present right here. So let me open this here inside. Now we basically will go to the backend folder, guys. So we will open this inside Visual Studio Code text editor. So you can see currently it is empty right now. We will make a package.json file npm init-y. So this will create the package.json file. So right here we will install Express and also MySQL and CORS library. So these 3 libraries are needed here for this application. Simply install this. After this we will make the index.js file. So inside this you can see CORS, Express and MySQL is installed. So MySQL is a package, guys, if you don't know, in order to connect to MySQL database from our Node.js application. So if you see here, it's a package which is available. So MySQL, it has got almost 881,000 weekly downloads. So it's a very popular module. So right here inside your index.js file, what we need to do is that, guys, we need to simply make that post request in order to insert the data. So right here we will first of all start our Express application. So const Express, we need to require Express, and we need to make a simple Express application, and this will start on port number 4000, and we can simply say that app is listening on port 4000. So right here, guys, basically we also need to have our MySQL module as well. So we need to require MySQL and also the CORS module, which is needed. CORS here like this. So now basically, guys, we need to make the connection to the database. This is the most important step in this application. We need to connect to this database that is there inside MySQL. So what we will say is that we will say const db and MySQL dot create connection. So this is a method which is required, guys, or you can also use this method, which is create pool. This is also a second method which also does the same thing. So here you will pass your object. First property is host, so basically it will be local host, and user name will be root by default, and the password will be, guys, empty. This is a default password for MySQL database. And then the database name. So database I will put here, let's suppose CRUD application. So this database I need to create. So I will simply go to my admin section, localhost php myadmin. So we will create a new database, which is CRUD application that we have. So after this, we will create this database. So here we will say table name will be games. We will click on go, and basically you can see we have created this database CRUD application. Inside this we have a table called as we haven't created the table, so we just need to say games. Click on go, and here, guys, we will have ID. This will be integer, length will be 11. Then we will have the name of the game. This will be a varchar, the length will be 256. Then we will have cost of the game. This will be an integer, length again will be 11. And lastly we will have the category of the game, category. This will be again varchar, 256 the length. And we need to make this ID the primary key, guys. Auto increment to off here. You can see auto increment. And then we need to save this table here. So now our table is created. It has 4 fields: ID, name, cost, category. So this table you need to create like this beforehand. So now basically our connection will be successful. After this we can simply say that app.use express.json. And also we will use this course middleware like this. And now our application has started. If I go to this node-mon index.js, so now you can see app is listening on port 4000. Our application has started on port number 4000. So now we need to make that route to insert game in database. So what we can say is that app.post, and simply we will write this route, which is register. And here, guys, we will simply say request response. And here we will simply fetch all the information which will be there, which is name, cost, category. This is destructuring in JavaScript, if you know. And we will get this using request.body. That's it. All this information we are passing. If you closely look here inside our React.js application, we have passed this information inside our, you can see we have passed name, cost, category in the second argument. You can see this is an object. So we are just importing this, destructuring it, name, cost, category from request or body. So after this we will construct the query, guys, which is simply insert into the table name. In this case the table name is games. And then this is a simple SQL query if you don't know about SQL. Then the column name will be name, cost, category, and then the values. So values will be simply here name, okay, we will put question mark here. So it's good good practice to follow MySQL injection, guys, if you want to prevent it. So we will write like this. So question mark, and question mark. Put a semicolon. So I think you need to put in the same line like this. So values. So now basically we will write the query, actual query. db.query, this is a method. So db is coming from this db connection object. It contains this query parameter. We will pass the MySQL actual query that needs to be inserted, and then we will placeholders. We will give the placeholders on this question mark. You can now see name, cost, category inside this object, name, cost, category. So this is a very secure way by which you can prevent the SQL injection, so that's why this is the approach that we follow. And then this error result, basically we can check if any sort of error take place. We can say response.send or response.json error is equal to error. In the else scenario, basically we will return a JSON object response.json, and here we will return the data, which is result. That's it. Or we can simply also say that the records have been inserted. So now this we have written this post route, guys. So basically now we can manipulate our React.js route. So instead of console logging it, we can alert it to the user, alert.data. So alert data.data. That's it. This is a data property. So if you now refresh your application, guys, if you go to it, you can now see our Node.js application is still running on port 4000. If I put the name, cost is this one, category. So if I see console menu here, access to XML HTTP request at localhost 4000 register from origin has been blocked by CORS block policy. Uh, I think this is coming through CORS error is coming. I have set this header, which is, if you see here. Oh, I think we haven't set this. So this needs to be set beforehand, guys. So you can now see these middleware functions need to be set before you make any sort of request. So right here, just paste it here, app.use express.json and app.use CORS. So this is very much important line in order to prevent the CORS related issues. So again, if you refresh it, put the game name here, which is cricket 18. This is cost is $1,500. $1,500. Category is sports. Insert game. So basically, if you now see here, so object is returned to us. It is saying that so let me start this application once again. Node more index.js, guys. If I put the category, so here object is returned to us, guys. You can now see our data is successfully inserted. Basically, if I check my MySQL database, this is the, let me check, this is, if I browse here, here's nothing is inserted. Category name, cost, category. Let me check, guys. Database name is correct, which is CRUD application. This is insert into games, name, cost, category. So basically, guys, if I console log request.body, let me check if it is console name, cost, category. Let me troubleshoot this if all the values are returned here. Console log category. And also let me console log error. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Okay, you can now see all the data is coming here in the console, name, cost, category. But I think you have an error in your SQL syntax, so I think this is a problem. So, in this case, guys, you can troubleshoot at any moment of time if you have problems going on. So, name, this is a statement, guys. Let me paste it. Basically, this is the insert into games and then name, cost, category, values, question mark, comma, question mark, comma, question mark. Let me insert this. MySQL is equal to. So again, let me run this. Let me see if it is now working or not. So it is again saying that you have an error in your SQL syntax. So if you're watching it for the very first time, guys, then please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. Let me see what error is saying in the previous, this one, if you see here. This one here, if you see here, let me just copy this whole route here, which is slash register. So now hopefully it should work, which is MySQL name, cost, category. So now you can see that, guys, nothing, no error has taken place. If I refresh it, so you can see one record is successfully inserted here, which is name, cost, category. So I think there is just a typo mistake out there. So you can see that this is the SQL query insert into games name, cost, category, DB query, MySQL. Oh, I think we have written inside this square brackets, we have written this object, like that was the error was taking place. So this needs to be an array. So that was the error, guys, that was happening. If you closely look, yeah, this is an array. I have putting here curly brackets. So that was the error which was taking place. So let me revert back it to the previous that I have written. So you can now see we have put this curly brackets here. So this needs to be an array here. So put these square brackets here. So if you now see, if I refresh the application here, so put the category. So now basically this is an object here which is returned. And if you browse it, you will see the record is inserted. So now we have successfully inserting the records in the database, guys. So basically whenever we load the application, we need to show all the records which are present inside this database. So for this, we need to write a method basically inside this backend here, which is to fetch all the records. So for this, we will simply make a route here, which is app.get cards. So this simply means that fetch all the games which are present. So here request response here. So inside this, there will be simple MySQL query. If you see, select star from the table name, which is games. And now we have this db query method. We pass the SQL query, and then if any sort of error take place, we can console log the error. In the else scenario, we can send out the result. That's it. So this is all the route, guys, in order to select all the games. So now basically we need to move to our React.js. So basically whenever we need to show all the records. So for doing this, it's very easy. If you see here, let me see. So right here, after you do this, after this button here, if you see after this button, basically here we will show all the list cards. But before this, we also need to. So here basically, guys, whenever this component renders it for the very first time, we will use this use effect hook here, which is available inside React.js. You can see it is imported from React library. So here this function will execute. So here we will fetch all the records from database. So here we will make a simple get request, Axios get HTTP localhost 4000 and then get cards. So this is a request that we have written right now. If you see inside our backend, this is a get request, get cards. So we are now calling this. So this returns a promise again. So now our data will be coming inside this response. So here we will set this by using this hook method, which is set list card. You can now see this is the set list card method here, which is here we will put the response dot data. So now we simply need to show this data inside this browser. So for doing this, we need to go to the bottom section here and simply put curly brackets here, and here we will simply say list card dot, and basically this is an array, so we will use this map method here, and inside this for each card we will simply use here. If you see here, inside this we will put a card component, guys. Basically we will make this component, don't worry about it. So this card component, so inside this card component, basically we will pass some things out there. Basically first is the list card, which will be equal to the list card here, like this. This is an array that we are passing, and set list card is equal to set list card. And also we will be passing a key parameter, which will be value.id. The name will be equal to value.name, and the cost will be equal to value.cost, and the category will be equal to value.category. So now we need to make a simple components folder, guys, inside our. So here basically we will make this card.js. So it's a functional component. So basically here guys, we will have a simple uh, we will have const open comma set open. Basically here we will use the useState hook once again of React, and basically this will be a boolean variable, and this will be currently set to false. And basically here we will first of all show here inside this return statement the cards here. So right here we will show this information. So we will give it a class name of card container, and basically also inside this we will show the information, which is, so we will be getting the properties which we are passing here inside app.js. You can see we are passing some properties, which is list card, set list card, all this which will be available inside props. You can now see. So just make it card here like this. So now we can simply include this at the very top like this, import card from components card. So right here inside our h1, basically we will be giving a class name to it of card title, and this will be props.name. So you can see we are passing the name here. Similarly we will print out cost category. So inside our paragraph tag here we will have the card ID as well, which is props.id. You can see we are also passing the ID as well. You can see inside the key parameter here. So you can see that. If I see here, let me see. Oh sorry, we haven't passed the ID. So just pass the ID, which is val.id. So here we are getting this props.id. So after this we will also print out, which is card category props.category. We will write it. And then we will also print out the card.cost. So here we will simply write here props.cost. So basically now guys we can cross check here. If I refresh it, so it is saying that localhost 4000 get cards. Let me see why it is having this problem. Oh sorry, here we have put HTTPS. It needs to be HTTP. That's the problem. And if I again refresh it, so now you can see that guys, all the records I have been successfully inserted. You can see two records are there, which is first this is a name, which is ID. You can now see this is a category and this is a cost. If you now see, we have two records out there inside our database. So it is successfully printed out. If I add the third one, so inserted, now you can see that the third one is also inserted. If I insert the fourth one, now you can see that. So in this way guys, if you again refresh it, your data will be pulled it from the database. So this is all doing it using inside this use effect hook here. We are calling this a get request which using Axios and printing it out. So now we need to style this. So right here inside your component, just make card.css and include this file, import card.css. So basically here guys, we will put card container, we will target it, we will give it the width of 250 pixel and border we will give it as a 3 pixel solid black, and border radius we will give it as 5 pixel. Margin we will say 10 pixel, padding we will say is 5 pixel, and cursor we will change it to pointer. So if you now refresh it, now you will see a simple border here of black color, and now you can see a fixed width is there. So after this guys, we will now target the card ID, which is card ID. So here you will say display to inline block and float at the right position. So margin right we will give it as 10 pixel. So it is saying that float right. Margin from the top we will also say 5 pixel. Background color will be black. Border radius will be 5 pixel. Color will be white. Font weight will be 700. Padding will be 3 pixel and fonts family will be monospace. So first of all, hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well guys. So this is the ID which is styled here guys, 1 2 3 4. You can now see it is floating in the right direction. And then basically we will now target this title here, which is display inline. And for the cost, we will also say margin top to 15 pixel. So when we hover onto this guys, we need to change its background color to aqua like this. So if you now see, when we hover onto this background color changes to like this. So that's all that we need for this CSS guys. So this is completed. So now basically two operations are done. We are able to insert data inside the database, and also we are fetching all the data which is present inside the database. So now the two operations are remaining whenever we need to update the data and also delete it. For doing this, we need to first of all, so here whenever we click it, we need to show a dialog box material pop-up window. For doing this, we need to attach a on click to it. So right here inside this here, we will attach a on click here. So on click. So here this function will execute as an inline function, and basically we will put this property which is set open to true, from false to true. So now whenever this property is set to true, basically this window will appear, which is form dialog. Basically this is a component we will make, which is form dialog. So here we need to pass some properties. Open will be passed here to open, whatever is the property. Set open, we will also pass it as a function, set open. We will also pass the title, which is props.name, cost as props.cost, category as props.category, and list card to be props.list card. and set list card to be props.setListCard. Also we will pass the ID as well, which is props.id. So this is the second component we need to make, guys, inside the same. If I see here, yeah, we need to make a dialog. So inside this we need to make a dialog folder, and inside this we will have a file which is dialogform.js. So it's a functional component, and basically just rename this to form dialog. We will have the properties which will be coming as props here, similar to this. You can now see we will have a hook function, guys, which is hook, which will be const edit values, set edit values, and basically the initial value of this we will use again useState, and this will be, we will pass the ID which is coming props.id. We will pass the name which will be props.name, and cost props.cost, and category we will say props.category. So we have initialized this. Basically it contains this object, this hook here, and inside this, guys, basically we will have a dialog box. So this dialog box, guys, it is available inside Material UI, if you clearly know what I am talking about. So we can import this using Material. So import dialog from @material UI core / dialog. So basically it will show you a dialog box pop-up window. So we also need to import these also, which is dialog actions, dialog content, and dialog title. These also, and also in order to show a text field, we also need to import it from Material UI. This is a component text field, and also for showing the material button, we also need to import the material button like this. Also we need to import the Axios libraries as well, Axios from Axios. So these are the libraries that we need to import. So after this, we will simply now show this dialog box, which is inside this open will set to props.open, and there is also a on close as well. So whenever the dialog box closes, what will happen? So we'll make this function handle close. So after this, guys, just put, so here we inside this we will have a component which is dialog title. So here it will be the title of this dialog window, which is form dialog title. So this will be this edit. So this is the title, and then we have the content which is available here. What will be the content? So we have to show a text field here, and inside this we need to pass some parameters. It will be disabled by default. Margin will be is equal to dense, ID will be equal to ID, and label is equal to ID, and the default value will be equal to props.id. So here the type will be equal to text and it will be full width. So this ID parameter, guys, it will be default, as you can see here. If I show you, if you see, this is the ID parameter that we are constructing. By default it will be disabled by default. You cannot change it because it's the primary key of the table, so that's why it is disabled. So now if I refresh it, if I form dialog is not defined, so we need to import this component. So inside CRUD.js, so it will be imported from dialog form. So if you now hit this, so it is saying that handle close is not defined. So we need to define this function, guys, first of all the functions that we have put here. So right here we need to define this function. This is the arrow function. Just refresh it and just tell you. Now you can see this window will be appearing here, which is a material window, and this will be default by disabled. This ID field, it will hold the current ID of the. So now we cannot close this, so that's the problem. So we need to make this. So we need to make this function which is handle close. So what we will simply say inside this function, one liner function is there. So we will say props dot set open to false. So basically whenever you close it, it will be closed. So now you can see that. If you click outside this window, it will be closed. So here the ID will be 2, here the ID will be 3, and here the ID will be 4. So this is a primary key of the table, guys. That's why we have disabled it. So if you're watching it for the very first time, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. So here, guys, what we need to do is here. Now in similar way we will have the text field here, one other text field, and again here this will be autofocus by default, and margin will be equal to dense, ID will be name, and label will also be name. So default value will be props dot title, type will be equal to text, and on change will be handle change values, and it will be again a full width. That's it. And similarly, guys, we will have another text field which will be for, again this will be autofocus, margin will be dense, ID will be category, label will also be category, default value props dot category, type will be text, and also on change this will be handle change values. Again this will be a full width. And lastly, guys, for cost, you can simply say this will be cost. So this will be the number, guys, because cost is a number. So here we will change the type to number. So now we need to define this handle changed values, guys, function. If you see, we need to define this function which is handle changed const handle changed values. So we will have the values like this. We'll call this method, which is set edit values function. Just move it at the very top, guys, like this. So here what we need to do is that we again need to do the same thing, which is what is the previous values. And so here we will simply say dot 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 previous values. Basically, this is a spread operator. Whenever you need to insert on top of an array, we use the spread operator. Values dot target id is equal to values dot target value. So here in this case we need to give the id parameter. So this id parameter we are given here, which is name, category, and also here also I think we haven't given this. So name is equal to cost. So after this, guys, we will have two buttons out there inside this material box. If you see inside our dialog actions, now we have a different component, which is dialog actions. So inside this we will have two buttons. Material button, which is for either cancel, then we have the delete button, and then we will have the edit button, or you can say update. So we will be giving a on-click attribute to here, guys. Basically, when we click the cancel, we just need to close out the material window, handle close. And when we click this button of delete, what we need to do is that we need to call this function, which is handle delete game. Handle delete game. We will call this function. And similarly, when we click the update button, we need to call this handle update game. So also, guys, we need to attach some classes to it, which is here the color will be primary. Here the color will be again primary. All three buttons have this color, guys, which is primary. So now we need to define all these functions that we defined here: handle delete game and handle update game. You may say that handle edit game. So right here we will define this handle delete game and handle edit game. So if you now refresh it, guys, handle changed values is not defined. Handle changed, sorry. This needs to be handle changed. So now you can see we have this material window. It contains four fields out there. The ID field is disabled. We have this name, so we can now edit this. So you can change the cost as well. So if I now click update, I need to update these values. So if I click cancel, the window will disappear. So for this, we need to click the delete button. I need to delete this record. So for this, guys, if you're now watching it for the very first time, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. So here we will need to make backend request, guys. Inside it, we will need to go to inside our backend server. So here, first of all, we will tackle the delete request. So here we will simply say app.delete. This is a backend route /delete, and we will have the ID whichever record we need to delete it. So we will have request response, and basically we will get the ID of the record we need to delete by request.params. and then we will construct the query, which is delete from table name, which is games, where id is equal to question mark, and then db.query, we will simply say MySQL, and we will pass the id and error result, and if any sort of error take place, we can console log it. If no error take place, we can simply say that response.send result. So that's it. This is the delete query, guys. We have written this delete query. You can see delete. We are passing the ID. So now we need to move to the delete function here. So inside this delete function, we need to write the code. So basically here we will make the Axios dot delete request. So here we will say HTTP localhost 4000 slash delete slash, and here we will pass the ID. So now to pass the ID, guys, we will simply say that edit values dot ID. So basically it's an object. You will now see edit values is an object. Edit values dot ID. So we have getting this ID here. So here we are passing it. So this will return a promise. So we can simply say dot then. And after this we need to simply props dot set list card, set list card. So here, guys, we will simply say props dot list card filter, and we need to remove that value which we have removed. So now to remove that value, we will simply return value.id, and basically we will say if it is not equal to the id that we have deleted. So this simply means that we are filtering out all the values which is not equal to that id that we have removed. So this will return all the values except the value which has its id. That's it. And after this, we also need to call handle close. So to close the window, handle close. That's it. So now if you see, guys, if I refresh it, if I now hover onto this, click on delete. So let me see what is the problem going on. If I click delete, so now that if you just so now basically if you see here, 4 records are there inside the database. If you clearly see here, let me check here. 4 records are there. Now if I need to delete any of the individual record by if I press the delete button, you can now see the delete operation is not done. So it is saying that axios.delete is not a function. So localhost 4000 get cards. So why it is showing me this error? localhost 4000 slash delete. Now let me write this once again, guys, which is handle delete game function http localhost 3000 slash delete dot then. So again, if I refresh it, guys, sorry, I need to start this. So I need to start this. So npm start. So this will start this React.js application at port number 3002. So please hit the like button, guys, if you're watching it for the very first time. I am seeing people are not liking the content. Please subscribe the channel as well. So now if I click delete, I think, guys, it is related to Axios. If you see the Axios version here, which I am using in this project, if I check the Axios version here, 0.27 and 0.21. So let me update it to the same version, guys. I think there is creating this conflict issues. That's why it is not. If I paste it to the same version, which is, so just update this 0.21 and now try to. So npmi, so just update it to the previous version of Axios. So I don't know why it is saying that Axios dot is not a function, and just start here npm start. So just wait, it is opening this application. So I don't know, guys, why it is giving me this error, which is on 24th line. Dialog form. Let me see dialog form here. Oh, sorry, this needs to be 4000. Sorry, the port number was different, guys. I was writing the wrong port number. So refresh it now and click on delete. Axios.delete is not a function. Let me search this error. Axios.delete is not a function. I think you need to uh, pass the headers as well. So just pass the headers as well, guys. So content type application JSON. Just do it, and if you now refresh it, so I have given that. I think, guys, we haven't imported this. I think this is the problem. You can now see we haven't imported this library. So right here at the very top, we need to import this library. So here you need to import Axios from Axios. So you need to import like this. So just write this statement, which is import Axios from Axios. So now if you do this like this, then obviously it will work now. So if I change it, if I change it to the previous value here, if I, let me import Axios from Axios. So import Axios from Axios. A should be capital here. So if you now refresh it, so now you can see that, guys, the delete request is working perfectly now. This was just a import problem right here at the very top. You need to import like this. Import Axios. A should be capital here. So click on delete. So you can see all the records are been successfully deleted, guys. You can now see in the database as well. If I click the browse section, no record is there. So if I insert a record, you can now see. If I want to delete this, click on delete button. Now you can see the delete operation is also working. So now we will handle the update option, guys. If I update the entries, I need to update this. So for doing this, first of all, we will write the backend request for this. So similar to delete, we will write update as well. So simply we'll say that app.put and slash update, and we will pass the ID. So this will be slash edit. So then we will have request response at the second argument here, and simply here we need to first of all get all the elements, which is ID, name, cost, category, and this needs to be fetched from request.body. And we need to now construct the MySQL query, guys, which is update table name, and here we need to set the name to question mark, comma, cost to question mark, category to question mark. So where ID is equal to question mark. So this is a syntax, guys, which is required here. And now we will have db.query, and basically we will pass the MySQL, and also inside this array, which is name, cost, category, and ID. So this will have error result, and if you can console log error, if any sort of error take place. If no error take place, then we can, inside the else statement, we can simply say that response.send result. That's it. So this is a very important statement, guys, in order to update the data. Update followed by table name, and then set the columns. Name is equal to the modified name, cost is equal to modified cost, category is equal to modified category, and where the ID, which is the primary key, is equal to the ID that we have given here. So this is the update operation is also complete. Now we need to go to the front end here inside React.js, and inside this handle edit, we need to write this code. So we will now use Axios.put method in order to make a put request, and here we will say http localhost 4000 slash edit, and here we need to pass the data which needs to be updated, guys. So we will pass the ID, which will get props.id, sorry, edit values dot id, name is equal to edit values dot name, uh, cost is equal to edit values dot cost, category is equal to edit values dot category, and then we need to, this will return a promise, so we need to handle using dot then, and inside this we need to set the props dot set list card, and here we will have props dot list card. Again we'll use the map method. For each value we will return the value which id is not equal to edit values dot id. And also we will use the ternary operator. If the value, if the record is the same, then we will simply have the edit values dot id, name is equal to edit values dot name, cost is equal to edit values, if it is not equal to the id that is passed here, then we will simply render out the value. So value, that's it. At last we also need to close out this window, so we can simply call handle close. That's it. So now the application is complete. Now let me test it. So if I want to change the name here, let's suppose also the category, and if I click the update button, and now you can see the name is changed, category is also changed. We can add a record. we can delete the record, we can update the record, we can do anything here with this CRUD application. So now we have constructed a fully CRUD application, guys, inside React.js, Express, and MySQL database. So if you have any sort of problem, you can ask in the comment section. And you can also hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. And all the source code of this application I have given in the pinned comment. So you can go to that blog post and copy paste all the source code.